The global financial and economic crisis of 2008 rudely interrupted the impressive progress developing countries made towards the Millennium Development Goals, or the MDGs, in the years before the crisis. The crisis originated in high-income countries, and the immediate impact, in the first weeks or months, was largest in many of the middle-income countries that are specialized in manufacturing production. But we think that the fallout during the coming years, so the medium-term impact, will be harshest in the poorest countries, in the low-income countries. We know from past crises that the harm to human development done during bad times cut far deeper than the gains during upswings. When crises hit, then poor people eat less, children drop out of school, families can't afford healthcare anymore, and that puts whole generations potentially at risk. But worst of all, some 250,000 more infants, 250,000 more infants, will not survive as an indirect consequence of the crisis. In the year 2015 alone, some 350,000 more students will be unable to complete primary education as a result of the crisis. And also some 25 million more people will be denied access to clean water. The impact of the crisis on human development is dramatic. And that is why, more than ever before, we need now to focus on actions to achieve the Millennium Development Goals by their 2015 deadline. Or at least we need actions to get as close as possible in achieving them. The developing world is still off track with its aim to halve the proportion of people who suffer from hunger. Progress also falls severely short in healthcare outcomes, fell severely short in the reduction of mortality rates. We need actions, and ultimately success depends on actions in developing countries. And governments in developing countries over the last 15 years have done a great job. Their macroeconomic policies have become much more stable. They have improved gradually their institutions. Service delivery is gradually becoming more effective. And many developing countries have started now building up more targeted safety nets. Targeted safety nets, that means that they not only support household incomes, but they also help children, for example, stay in school and continue to learn when the crisis hits. It is crucial that policymakers in those high-income countries shift their attention now to the developing needs in the developing world. They should maintain and expand an open international trade and financial system, keep it open to those poorer countries. And they should deliver on their aid commitments. Their actions today will shape the future opportunities and challenges for those in need. And that is not only fair, but it is also important for the high-income countries themselves. If there's one thing that was revealed by the crisis, then it is that poor countries not only depend on the high-income countries, but the high-income countries have become much more dependent on the poorer countries also. It has become clear now that a sustainable recovery in the high-income countries is not possible without successful development in the poorer countries. And that is where the policymakers in the high-income countries should focus on. And in that sense, we are moving more and more towards a multipolar world.